Everyone, Chris Berryman here with my great friend and partner Carla Fedigan for today for Humanity Happy Hour. Welcome everyone to our Bringing Humanity Together live stream. This is one of the 3 open forums under the Bringing Humanity Together umbrella where people can discuss topics related to the workplace, humanity in the workplace in a very positive and constructive way. We want to know what the issues are out there that people are facing because it is our goal to work with employers and employees to bring humanity back into the workforce. We always will be going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, except for Wednesdays. We have a meet and greet at 2:45 for Conversations for Humanity, and we have that there. So remember, every Tuesday, Sharing Care with Sandy is hosted by Sandy Chernoff. I host Conversation for Humanity on Wednesdays, and every Thursday, none other than Carla Fedigan hosts Humanity Happy Hour, a.k.a. the 19th Hole. And as you jump on, feel free to comment in the chat where you're jumping on from. If you're watching this on YouTube, on LinkedIn Live, on Twitter, we would love to know where you're watching from. And even if you're watching from on the replay, please hashtag the hashtag replay, and also give us any comments, questions, or topics you want to bring up for us to discuss on another call. We would love to have that great and engaging conversation with you and find out what's resonating with you today on today's call. So, hello, Carla. How are you doing today on Terrific Thursday?
I'm doing great. I'm terrific on this terrific Thursday, Chris. How about yourself?
I am terrific because, I had an early day today and I was in and out and already did one impromptu live stream about about how can we bring humanity into business and beyond it. I was on Clubhouse twice this morning.
Wow.
I'm everywhere.
You've had a productive day. That's great. That is great.
Yes. So what are we talking about today?
So I know we've been talking about communication all week, and I was thinking about what else could we talk about, and I was thinking that it would be good to talk about the nonverbal communication that we have with people, whether we're on a live stream, whether we're on a call with somebody, we're doing a Zoom call with somebody, or even whether we're face-to-face with people. The world is starting to open up, and we're starting to be more in touch with one another and getting together. I think everyone is longing for community these days. And then I thought we could talk about how we treat each other on social media. So if we get to that, we'll get to that. So, and then who knows where else the day will take us. Sandy's out playing golf with her daughter, which is something very important to do. You can't pass those moments up, and nobody should.
No, you can't.
Yeah. Like I spent some time with my dad yesterday, and you just never know. You got to take those moments when you can get them.
Absolutely. I agree with you because those are precious moments and you can never get them back because once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. I just found out that a friend of mine whose husband had been dealing with Alzheimer's and lung cancer just passed away. So
my condolences.
It's tough. Tomorrow is not promised. And I have talked to so many people about that lately. And you just got to take care of that. You got to take advantage of those moments when you can.
Exactly. You
can with them. So in terms of nonverbal stuff, I think face-to-face, we used to talk about this all the time. How do you present yourself when you're talking with someone? Are you actually present? Are you actually engaged in the conversation? Are you defensive? Are you sitting there with your arms crossed? Because they say when you're there with your arms crossed, you're kind of closing yourself off to being open. Now, I do it because I'm cold, but, other people will do it like, well, I don't know about what you have to say because I don't know if it's right or not, or I'm not going to take your suggestion, that kind of thing. And that's kind of a closed off presentation. But we need to be, mainly people aren't present with each other these days. They're on a Zoom call and they're talking to somebody here or there, or you go to the grocery store and they're checking out at the grocery store and the cashier's trying to interact with them and they're on their cell phone,
Yeah.
But people think that they can multitask and they're really not present in anything they're doing.
Right.
I mean, people text and drive, and you're not supposed to do that, and they wonder why in the heck they get in accidents,
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, it's not worth
That
it.
is true.
So, we talk about that. What kind of things do you see?
Well, I think you really nailed it on the head because, like I said, for the 35 years that I have been working for others, I have really seen those nonverbal, just really standoffish ways of being. Because, like you said, when you have your hands crossed, you're closed off on yourself, you're putting up that kind of barrier in the way. And that really keeps us from really connecting with people. And even sometimes when you see people doing, like the kind of like the stare, like what are you saying, or you sometimes you get that angry stare from somebody, like you just kind of like they just gave you the bird and you gave it back to them or whatever, and they just get really angry. You just see it. That I think that's another thing that gets in our way because we just don't know what we don't know. It's like we don't know if Carla's had a bad day. We don't know if something just happened to her. She got a golf ball hit on her car. You just never know. And I think that's what we have to start learning is letting go of those things that weigh us down and hold us back because it's not going to do us any good, number one. It's not going to even do you any good. And especially in a work environment, it's not going to do anybody any good because once that becomes really prevalent and really out there for everyone else to see, I think multiple things may end up happening. They'll become standoffish. They don't want to get involved. They won't say anything. Just keep quiet and just keep to themselves. Or there might be some people who go off the deep end and say, "Hey, why did you do that with that guy? Why did you say what you said to that guy or that lady or whatever?" And then start things will go to flying, and then the accusations will start. No, it's just no good for anything. So I just believe if you just do the right thing and do what is the best thing for not only you but for everyone else involved, do what is right, not what is easy, and just really say, "Hey, I'm going to do the right thing today, and this is what I'm going to do," and do it from that standpoint moving forward.
Well, have you ever been in a situation where you go into work or somebody comes into work and they're tossing their keys on the desk and they're dropping their bag in their chair and they're just like, you're going, whoa, it's not going to be a good day.
Yeah, I've had that multiple times, and I even did that myself in different places I've worked in. I've really had to do that because just to release the stress and the anxiety I had at the time, and I just like, no, I just can't do that. I just got to say, hey, wait a minute, I can't do that. I have to reel myself back into such an extent and say, hey, I can't project this out.
Right.
I just surely believe, Carla, that we are more geared toward the negativity than we are the positivity of things because that's just the way probably we are in our brains. But I have trained myself for a great number of years now. Don't give into that negativity. I can set it aside and say, hey, it's not going to define me. It's not going to control me or anything like that. Or if I see someone else do it, I'm going to just do the simplest thing and really be genuine about it and say, hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can help with? Whatever can I do for you and everything? Because a lot of people just hear that and just to hear it, but it's not really tangible to them. And I'm really go out of my way to make it really tangible for them that they know that they're going to be heard and they know that they got support and they know that that's coming from a genuine place of authenticity and genuineness because I'm opening myself up to them and hopefully they will open themselves up to me.
Well, you're also setting an example to bring a positive attitude into your work environment or your personal life, wherever you are. And if somebody's having a bad day, you can say, hey, are you okay? And if they say, hey, I've got a lot of stuff going on at home, you can say, hey, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm sure it must be difficult. If there's anything I can do, I'm here for you. But you can do that. Or if, negativity can be a negative work environment, and it's easy for everybody to get on that pity train and have that get on the negativity train. And it's if you decide not to get on that train, they're like, oh, well, you must be brown nosing with the boss. No, I'm not brown nosing with the boss. I just decided I'm not gonna be negative the entire day, because it creeps into your personal life and it creeps into your health and your well-being. And I just don't want to be that way. So I can set an example for other people, but it is easy for people to get on that negativity train in the workforce. And that's, even though they're not maybe talking about issues, that negative vibration is there, I used to not think a whole lot about, I used to think that vibration was kind of this woo-woo thing. Kind of like chiropractic care. I used to think chiropractic care was a woo-woo thing, and you don't know what you don't know, and I always thought, well, that's just kind of out there, but it makes a huge difference. And if you people talk about vibes, and we've been talking about vibes since the 60s, but we didn't really know what it was. It was just that good feeling, but it's true. The higher your vibration is, the better your environment is going to be. And other people are going to want to get on that ascending vibration, as opposed to the descending and getting down in the dumps and getting negative. There's just life's too short. My girlfriend's husband died. Life is too short for that.
And see, what's even makes it more, I don't want to say it's outrageous, but it's more aggravating to me than anything else, is when I see people literally go into the negative every single day when they come into work, which I understand they have their personal issues, things go on, kids are late to school, I understand that. But what gets me going is when someone doesn't do their part, blame it on them for them not doing, it might be their fault, it may not, who knows. But when they really dump on them to such an extent that it really drags those people down, and they say, I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
that just cooks my goose. I just hate that, because this doesn't do them any good. You're belittling them for something that they may have not had no control over for anything. Or if they did do something wrong, it was legitimately from them. You should say, hey, don't do this next time, okay? Yeah. I know we had a bad day today, but just don't do that. It's just like what Sandy said. Let's see how we can make it better for it. How would you do it to do this moving forward? Would you do it in a different way? Because, see, when we get into that negativity, it goes throughout the people, wherever they're at, whether it be on the phone, whether it be serving food, whether it be taking the order over the phone or a cashier stand. It's palpable to them. And then you transfer that negative energy onto someone who was wanting to get a good service from you. And then you go in and saying, something's not right here. Yeah. What is going on? Mm-hmm. And you just know it. And that's not a great environment for anybody, to be honest with you.
Well, I've worked with people that have been negative from the moment they walked in to the minute they left every day. And I've had to say to them, this might not be the right place for you. Were you telling me I should quit? So I'm not telling you that, but I'm telling you, you're very unhappy. Yeah, I know I am. And I said, and you're letting everybody know about it. And so it's like, so what, now what? If you're unhappy with how the organization is run and how they've set up procedures and how they do everything from the minute you walk in to the minute you leave, do you want to live the rest of your life that way? Or do you want to go find something that really is your passion, or something that you actually like doing, or an organization that you feel connected with?
Yeah, and I agree with that. And see, that is why I'm so passionate about the way we're building out this organization, community, and purpose that is bringing humanity together, because we're doing it in a totally reverse dynamic of what most traditional businesses do. I want to get to know the people now, find out what they are passionate about now, find out what really makes them tick now. Because if I get to know that now, and we get to know that now, we can see the better alignment for them down the road and for that here and now. Because, see, a lot of organizations don't do that. They just throw mud on the wall and see, hope it sticks, that we're going to hire this person, they're going to be this great cook, or they're going to do X, X, and X, or whatever.
They're going to hire people and put them in a box and pray that they work.
Exactly.
And they don't really know them.
But that's what I'm saying. Why do we go down that road? Why do we put ourselves and put others through that same process?
They do it because it's always been done that way.
I know. But see, I know that there's a better way of doing it. That's why we are
Yeah.
building it in the way that we're building it, because we know if we get to know people on that genuine human level and find out, like I said, what makes them tick, what makes them fired up, what makes them go, 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 then it goes to the very dynamic of who we are here at Bringing Humanity Together, that we're surrounding ourselves with people who know what they know far better than us, that they can say, I am on that very same journey as you are, Carla. I'm
Mm-hmm.
on that very same journey that you are, Chris, because you know what? You shared with me your story, share with me your passion and your purpose, and that goes right into alignment of who I am. And if, like I said, if a lot of organizations start to have those conversations with people on that deep, meaningful human level, not only would the culture become better for it, but more importantly, people will start seeing that they can turn their passion into a purpose, and their purpose will turn into something so far greater than the very money that they get from an organization, or an organization asks of people to buy things from them in such a way that when they are communicating to them that they are truly serving the community. Again, we've been talking about this last week about walking the walk and talking the talk. If you're not doing that, people are not going to take you at heart, be a part of your brand, be a part of your organization, get involved in what you do, because you're just basically doing the same old, same old.
Mm-hmm. You have to get to know people, and I don't care whether you're selling pencils, you're offering services like we're offering, or whatever. You have to get to know your people.
So
You
let me
can't
ask you
say,
this.
"Hey, I'm going to sell you. I'm going to sell you products," and hey, or come do sales with us. And if you want to, if you reach a certain level and selling our products, you can get a lease on a Mercedes. And it's like, well, how in the hell do they even know I want? I don't even want one. You know,
Right.
it's like
Right.
it's
But we
crazy.
all want a
They don't
Mercedes.
know what I want. They don't know what my goals are. You know,
Right.
and
Right.
I want people no matter what. I want people, and I was talking to somebody yesterday that was dealt with people with burnout in nursing, and I said, I want nurses to actually enjoy going to work like I used to.
Yes. Yes. And
I'm willing to get up every day and enjoy going to work.
yes, I truly believe in that too as well, Carla. It's because not only is the burnout real, and name me one industry that didn't have that, because
Yeah,
like what Sandy says, name me one organization or business that doesn't have a human
and
person.
have people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that goes to the mindset of an organization. Is it truly working for the best interest, and not only of the company, but also of the people that's working there with them, not for them? Because there's a huge distinction in that, you know.
Well, I think if an organization is has got their employees as their main interest and their best working in their best interest, the corporation will work out as well.
Well, I agree. There's that natural balance, because see, if you put forth the effort in creating a really tangible environment to people, and they know that they're going to be heard, they're going to be valued, they're going to not only be able to lead by permission versus position, they can start leading with their humanity each and every single day in every way, and they can get down to the ground floor where humanity truly stands for. And like I said, build that field of dreams with them, because if you know that field of dreams is there for them and for you, once you build it, they will come, and I know that, and
Mhm.
that's tangible to people. But like I said, when you go into a restaurant or a retail store, whatever that might be, and you look on the faces of the people who are working there or even shopping there, that nonverbal communication speaks volumes, and it speaks to what they're feeling at that given moment. But once we tap into that, though, Carla, whether it to be, like I said, we're looking at it from the prism of the person in that position or that person who's providing that service, either side of the table, maybe we can recognize, oh my gosh, this is the reason this happened because X X X happened here on this side of the table, but yet X X X X decided to take it from this way of thinking and way of being. And I believe that's where a lot of the big disconnect is because we're not really seeing each other's points of view in context that we're sitting at that very same table of humanity. And once that happens, and people see that there's different paths to success and impact and clarity and everything else in between, that's how we're going to really truly tap into humanity. And you know what? I even came up with this, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Instead of having personal development and professional development, shouldn't we have human development?
I mean, it's a matter of what you call it. I think that everybody needs to work on their own personal development on a daily basis, and instead of having professional development. But professional development is basically skills in your profession, whatever you're doing. But you also have to incorporate a third part, which is human development.
And I believe in that because when I said that to somebody some number of days ago, they said, wow.
Because the human development takes it out of the personal and transcends no matter what position you have in an organization.
Right.
It's not professional like professional development for like more nursing skills and more front office skills or anything like that. Human development just encompasses.
It brings everything together.
It unites everybody.
It does.
Well, I look at it as an organization basically is like a table.
It is.
The success of the organization is at this height. And each one of the legs are the people that you hopefully employ that will hold that table up. You got the visual there? You got
you ain't gonna believe who just chimed in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But imagine if you could focus on, instead of the holding the table up, work on the personal development of the people of your organization, and you can go from the height of a coffee table to the height of a high bar table because you have invested in the success of those people that are working for you.
Guess who just said this? Behavior is not random.
That sounds like a Brian quote.
That it is. Brian, please join us on the call.
Where are you, buddy?
Get on the call, Brian. I'm going to put it right here, right now, live. Brian, join us.
That's a Brian line for sure.
You darn skippy that was. I just looked into the feed. I was like, wow, Brian, you need to join us. And he even said, listen to this. Body language has to be seen in context and whatever is the baseline for each individual. He just said that. I'm like, Brian, kudos to you, sir, because that is just truly amazing. Brian, you jump on the call, sir. We love having you because, like I said, he just said this. Body language has to be seen in context. What is the baseline for each individual? That's definitely a Brian thing.
Oh yeah, it is.
Real
yeah,
good.
that is. Yeah. Well, I for several years, probably 2013, 2014 actually.
Right.
For a couple of years, 3 years of my life, I had a lot of crap going on behind the scenes that nobody knew about. What
Right.
didn't take it into work. and very few people knew about it. And I was not going to go dragging it in there. And even though I was dragging to get in there, it was like I didn't let it affect my work, because number one, it was nobody else's business, and number two, it had no place being there.
Right.
So I could have chosen to go in being negative, but I chose not to.
Right. And see, in my younger years when I was working for others, I did give into that negativity far too many times I can count. And I just did that because, number one, I knew I was to a certain extent selfish for myself. I didn't see the bigger picture. I didn't see the better way forward.
Well, that comes with emotional maturity in life.
Yeah.
We've all been.
That it did. But I did recognize after getting knocked in my head enough times by the way of life. Life does that to you. I just said, you know what? I have a better way of doing this. I have a better way to be a better being and better person. And I just said, you know what? I'm not going to let negativity drag me down. I'm just not going to let it be holding me, tie me down, or tie anyone else down. Because this is what I've learned from Brian. We shouldn't put our reality onto someone else's reality, thinking that it's their reality when in fact it's not. It's our perception thereof. So, Brian, we would love. In fact, speak of the man himself.
Woohoo!
There he is, Brian Sutter, the doctor of everything. But don't take the operation to Brian because he don't know how to operate.
What's on your hat today?
University of Miami.
Oh, okay.
He's a hurricane.
Yeah. How have you been?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So I love what you just said there twice, Brian, that behavior is not random.
Right.
And that body language has to be seen in context of what the baseline for each individual. You have to expand on that, sir.
Well, it's a bit what Carla had just mentioned. I mean, most people always believe if you stand with your arms closed or you have some kind of body language, it immediately insinuates something. But as she rightly pointed out, maybe you're just cold. But we read into body language. I mean, something like 55% of language comes from your physiology. 93% of all body language is really the language. I mean, what we hear from people from actual auditory language only comprises about 7% of our communication. So it's body language, physiology, and so forth. So yeah, not that it's not important. I think people just have watched the history special on body language and think they're body language experts and read certain things and say, oh, that's what it is, even though it might not be. I mean, it's, you could go to a funeral service and you can have, some people are very stoic and quiet and don't say anything. Some people aren't. And both of those states represent different mental states. I mean, obviously, a person who's more stoic and quiet and doesn't have much to say probably has completion with what's going on. A person who isn't complete probably doesn't handle it emotionally as well.
Or maybe they're falling apart inside.
Yeah. But so there's aspects of seeing it, and, you can see how people, facial expressions change, mouth changes, tightness of skin, the tonus changes, it becomes, different color, right? Some people lose color, gain color, depending on what's going on. All of that's important to pay attention to. But a lot of times people misinterpret.
Where did all that come from? Where did all this whole body language start from?
Oh, it's been going on for a long, long time. I mean,
I learned about it in high school.
One of the best. There was a medical doctor, Dr. Milton Erickson, who was very, very good at body language, and master in his external environment, and could see almost imperceptible shifts in people that most everyone wouldn't notice, but he could see from across the room or from different places and would know, based on what people were going through. But it's taught. I mean, salespeople recognize it. People in 3-letter agencies get trained in it. We pick up on it. I mean, we all are sitting here now, and our unconscious is processing what we're seeing on screen, right? My guess is we're all sitting here with our legs crossed in some form or fashion, right?
As we uncross our legs.
Yeah. So, but the unconscious mind knows that it's a form of rapport, right? I mean, building rapport is body language is part of building rapport, deep connection, mirroring, matching, tonality, all those kinds of things are, you can learn that. We do it unconsciously. A matter of bringing it into the conscious, so you start paying attention to it and then having it happen naturally. Yeah, I mean, we pick up on all that, so it's important, Chris.
I'd much rather do a Zoom with someone because I feel like I can better connect with them than I can just in a regular phone call.
Yeah. I mean, even in a regular phone call, you can match tonality. You can match the connection language with people of words and what people are saying, the volume, how loud people speak, even so much in terms of the what you say and how you say it, right? I mean, there's certain words that are used around the United States, right? Certain idiosyncrasies to how people speak in different places around the world. I mean, you're in Georgia, has a different kind of sounding English language than it might out of New York or Connecticut or the Midwest. I mean, those types of things that you can pick up on. The chunking, how much information you give at once, right? Versus, some people speak fast, some people speak slow, right? You can watch people's breathing, right? All of that tells you a lot about people.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian has taught me as well.
What was that, Chris?
I said Brian has taught me as well about when you listen to somebody, you can really gain more of a context if you just really are truly listening with them, not for them, and you just really listen.
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways of listening. I mean, you can listen for the person, which is suspending all your stuff and listen to the person. But there's also, you can listen, inferentially listen to someone, and really get the words that people are saying, right? I mean, auditory people tend to use a lot of hearing, sound-oriented types of words. Visual types of people use things like look, see, right? Kinesthetic types of people, are much more feel-oriented and use a lot of touch, feel, getting a grasp of. You can start to pick up on the connection language, and you can spit that stuff back to them.
Well, a lot of times you can tell if somebody's not present just by the look on their face, or you ask them, well, what do you think? And they're like caught that they weren't paying attention to you. And a lot of people will actually listen to reply.
Yes.
As opposed to really listening and getting to know people and know about them, not just like, oh my God, what are they saying? I mean, what am I going to say next? It's got to be catchy. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. Just have a conversation with people, like you're getting to know them. There's nothing right or wrong. I was telling Chris once that I used to be one of those type people that was like, well, at first it was like, you mean I'm going to get on the phone or on a Zoom with somebody that I've only maybe texted with a few times on LinkedIn and how to have a long conversation with them? I thought that it was crazy, But I have met some of the most interesting people, and I can get off the phone and tell you, because they've told me so many things, where they live, where they've come from, how many kids they have, how long they've been married, all these. I mean, they just pour it all out. And I can turn around just because I'm listening to them and want to make notes about, to remind me what I talked to them about and whatnot. And I can write a whole paragraph on their whole family because I listen and I get to know people. It's not about the outcome of it. It's about getting to know people, Yeah, we all have an idea or a service to offer to people, but it's really about connecting with people and getting to know them. And if it works,
one way to listen to someone is from listening from the context of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, listening to someone as if you're going to learn something from them, or that they're fascinating, and you're curious to see what they're going to tell you that could shape your life one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Or asking questions, if they say, "Hey, my husband's been flying. Oh, how long has he been flying for? And, where has he flown to? And what's his favorite place?" There's just so many different things you can find out about people.
Yeah. Agreed.
And we're all connected somehow.
Yes, we are. Yes. But people don't ask questions. We tend to be kind of addicted to our own things.
Yeah.
TV and news media and what we consume, really doesn't do justice to the connection aspect of it. I mean, you turn on whether it be ESPN or any news agency or any television show, and it's the talking heads are yelling and screaming at each other about, whether Aaron Rodgers is a good host of Jeopardy or not, and it's like, whoever yells the loudest ends up getting the points, so to speak. And it's not really a dialogue. It's just I said to prove my point, and you said to prove your point. But we actually end up in the same place at the beginning of it, as opposed to a true dialogue where you start here and at the end of it you ascend to someplace else, which rarely happens.
We just heard that this morning. I forgot what it was we had it on, but I mean, they were all going at it, and you couldn't even hear one over the other. And my husband said a few descriptive words and changed the channel.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We just don't have any patience for that.
That seems to be what sells nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think part of it is that the media has become a byproduct of its own success, so to speak, right? I mean, regardless of what side of whether you like media or don't like media, or you like social media or don't, it's all fighting for the same sound bites, right? So, they've done studies, and we as people can have the concentration span on average of about 9 seconds.
Oh, I thought it was 7.
I think it's 9. Maybe it's gone down.
We've expanded to 9. Okay, we're making progress.
Well, that was 2016, so maybe it's gone down. Goldfish, by the way, have an 8-second span. But the point being is that people don't pay attention long enough. That I think everyone's vying for that same 5 to 8 seconds to get your attention, and if you don't get their attention in those 8 seconds, you don't get an additional 8 seconds, and then an additional 8 seconds, right? So I think people say and do the most outlandish things to get someone's attention. It's kind of a version of clickbait.
The hook.
So I think they're all vying for relevancy at some level. So whether you're a politician or an athlete or a company, everyone is trying to brand themselves at some level, and I'm going to say whatever I need to say to get my name there, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. People are paying attention, right?
Yeah. Well, it's that hook to stand out. It's like a commercial that said, "Hey, have you heard? Have you heard the latest? And you get it in emails, you get it in posts, you get it in video all the time.
Yeah, and much of it's, truth bent sideways.
Worthy.
Or a version of an interpretation of something. But it's like, oh, I'm crossing my arms, so therefore I must be closed off. It's people make these comments without having any valid backup.
I'm sitting the same way, and it's comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just comfortable. I actually need like a pad or something, I might have to go out and invest in one of those little keyboard pads, put this for my elbows.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, to the other what you asked before, I mean, people's behavior is not random. People's behavior is always linked to how a situation occurs to them. 100% of the time. What we get confused about is that we think someone else's behavior is random because the situation occurs to us differently. So we question, well, I wouldn't do it in that way. That's not how I would behave in that situation. Well, yeah, because you're not them and they're not you. But that doesn't mean the situation doesn't show up to them in a particular way that leads to that type of behavior, right? So you were talking about the workplace and people are, come into the workplace being unhappy. Well, it could be that they're bringing external stuff from home into the workplace. It could simply be how they view their job, how they view their coworkers. Maybe they're not behaving out of randomness. They're behaving and acting because something shows up to them that way, which produces that behavior. We're then interpreting that behavior in such a way. So you have this distorted cycle going on that we are interpreting what you're thinking, even though I can't think what you're thinking, making up an assumption, and then it perpetuates. It's cyclical.
So they may see that behavior as normal in their eyes, but we're picking it up as negativity. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the same context with people having these conversations that go on about values and ethics and morals and what we should or shouldn't do and what we need and need not to do. It's like, at some level, it's counterproductive because, we all have values. We all have things that are important to us. But very often when we hear a conversation about values, it's Chris has the right values, Carla has the wrong values, Brian has the worst values. Like, we make these judgments about it, even though we're only looking at it from the context. Like, what's important to me isn't what's important to you. But for me to tell you that what's important to you is wrong and mine are right is kind of a weird conversation, right? We do that with politicians. We do that with companies, right? Oh, I'm not going to buy from a company because they're not sustainable. Okay, I bet you if I went through your house, 98% of the stuff that you've bought come from things that are non-sustainable. Like, you know what I mean? Like we pick and choose these things. What's important to us? I'm not saying you shouldn't be important. I'm just saying we don't really know, and we're parroting back what we've been told we should be saying, even though we're not really that informed about it. And is it really that important to you? Like, I think, Chris, we had that conversation a while back about investing in companies, of whether they, sustainability or not sustainability. And it's like, if you truthfully polled the average American consumer, I almost guarantee you that more than 90% of them would say, I don't really care about the value or where it comes from. I just want to make sure that I'm getting it for the right price.
Right.
Like, so much of what this stuff is talking points in many ways. So, but yeah, Carla, to answer your question, exactly. I mean, what we consider to be right, wrong, or indifferent doesn't mean the person who's doing it thinks it's right, wrong, and indifferent. They're behaving exactly how it shows up to them.
Yeah, everyone has values and they're all different, and there's not one that's any better than the other. It's just how you prioritize them.
Yeah, there's different value levels. I mean, there's about 8 or 9 levels of values, right? I mean, but you look at things with safety and making sure that you have what you need to be physically safe, to have shelter. Whether it be Maslow's things or not. Um, it gets into tribal stuff. It gets into individuals. It gets into the greater good. Like, I mean, as you ascend up. Um, Most people, though, in the Western developed world are probably between level 4 and 5 value levels. I mean, we're clannish by nature. Um, I mean, we talk about the greater good, but you know, as I've offered, most of the time our self interests are going to supersede that. Like, yeah, I want the greater good in the world to succeed too, but if I'm not here, I'm not going to have much say, and nor am
Right.
I going to care. Right.
And one day
So,
we won't be here. If we
yeah.
won't be to say.
So, I'm not going to, I don't have that personality to, you know,
Well,
put
when
my,
I actually, when it's funny you talk about going to the grocery store, when I go to the grocery store, yes, I'd like to be conscious and not use plastic bags, but I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten out of the car and all my little Publix recyclable bags are behind my driver's seat, and I'm at the cashier line and I'm going, my bags are in the back of my car. Oh well, Or I don't think of, well, I'm going to buy it in can form because it's recyclable versus the plastic or whatever. I'm looking for the best value for my dollar.
and look, it's all great. I mean, it's not like people consciously make the decision that they're going to do something that harms their environment or other
Yeah.
people's environment. People operate largely under the basis of convenience
Yeah.
and price, right? I mean, even corporations. Yeah, there's been corporations who have done things to the environment or financial systems or customers over a period of time. Of course, there's always going to be companies that take advantage. But by and large, companies try to do the best thing that they can, whether it's a large corporation or not, right? Coca-Cola is not trying to do anything wrong, right? ExxonMobil doesn't try to do things wrong. None of these companies try and do anything purposely. Sometimes they get put in positions, and I'm not speaking specifically of those two, but any corporation get put in a position that regulations, laws, uh, government things change that require them to shift. And it's not that easy to always move a big corporation from point A to point B. I mean, there's a lot of mechanisms there that have
Yeah.
to happen. So sometimes they move a little slower.
Well, I like the idea that my health and wellness company is dedicated to be zero waste and totally recyclable by 2028, but that's not why I went to them to begin with.
Yeah.
I went to them because I like their health and wellness solutions. I like their pricing. I didn't go to them, oh, well, I'm going to pick this one because they're environmentally friendly. I didn't pick them that way. I recycle in my house. We have more recyclable stuff than we do trash. Some people are of the idea that, hey, it's all going to the same place anyway. You think that they're gonna truly separate it, And I was with a trash company that did that before, that they said that they'd pick them both up at the same time and they were throwing them all in the same truck,
Yeah, it depends on where it is. And look, I mean, I live in an area of town where we do recycle. I know people who live in another area of town where they don't recycle.
Yeah.
And I also have heard that it all gets dumped into the facility waste management, and the people there go through it and separate it at the facility. And it's not a should or should we not recycle. I think so much of this stuff ends up becoming talking points that people take on these identities that, oh, that's the most important thing.
It becomes their cause.
I'm not sure it really is for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't.
That's where I find it to be interesting that is that really the most important thing to you, or are you saying that because it plays well and you get lots of clicks and it's popular and I don't know. And I'm not saying, and I'm not discounting doing it. I'm just saying the over promotion of it seems kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, that it's true. I was just thinking the same thing because I mean, my neighbors don't care whether I recycle or not, and they don't say, "Hey, you didn't put your can out. You're not recycling anymore?" No, I didn't have enough to recycle this week. We were out of town,
Yeah.
So, but I
know,
don't care like, "Hey, I recycle." Look at me. I recycle. I do it because I want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look. Jeff Bezos is one of the world's wealthiest people. Like last time I checked, I don't remember him coming out telling everyone how wealthy he is.
Yeah.
Like the smartest people in the world and the most successful people in the world don't go around saying, "Look at how smart I am and look at how wealthy I am."
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Elon kind of does, but Elon's his own kind of person. But you know what I mean? Like the whole promotion to it in some ways, like, is it necessary? Like some of the most philanthropic people I know, you wouldn't even know, donate millions of dollars a year, right? I
Yeah.
mean, in Hollywood, it's come out in the last couple of years. Keanu Reeves is one of the most philanthropic people in Hollywood.
Yes,
And
he is.
he doesn't put his name on anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's not doing good. Like, you don't have to promote it, right? At least how
You
I
don't have
look
to
at
wear it as a star
it.
on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know plenty of people that as my mom would say, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do, and unless you would know it, you would not know that they were wealthy.
Yeah. So, and I think
They
business
don't
is the
feel
same way.
the need to tell everybody about it.
Well, it's what you said. You have to tell everyone in the workplace that you're having, not such a good day at home. What does it matter? You're there to do a job. How does that have anything to do with, you know, the struggle that you're having? Even though it doesn't diminish the struggle, it just means you don't have to relate to them. So, it's still a job or a career
Yeah.
or a task that you have to get done. Um, you know, uh, it's a little bit. We've had this conversation, Chris. There's a lot about people's jobs. There are a lot of things that people don't like about them. You don't have to like everything about your job. You don't have to be being completely passionate about what you do. You can be good at it. You can do it for who or why and how and what you do. I mean, it's always this notion, oh, find your passion, you'll be happy. Okay. I'm
There's
passionate
always
I'm
that
passionate about
day.
playing golf, but
I don't feel like reaching out to people. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
But you do it because you need to do it, and once you do it, you're okay with it. But everyone has those that it's not a good day,
yeah, I mean,
Well,
I'm passionate about golf, but I'm not going to make a living doing it. Like, I'm passionate about it, but I'm not going to quit my job to go play golf. Like, that would be an erroneous financial decision.
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
Well, you and me both. Yeah.
but it's interesting. A lot of the things that I see people write about business and the complaining about work environments. Ironically, it's very rare that I see a post or someone talking about it who is the CEO, founder, president, or upper management of that business. You ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's always the worker who thinks that they're being whatever,
Yeah.
or they're being out to get, they're not treated right or not doing this. It's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
at some level, it's still a middle level or a lower management or a lower level job. Like, you work hard to not be there anymore, and then
Yeah.
you can make the decisions.
Yeah.
Like,
And guess what? Everybody's hiring now.
yeah, and ironically, and even in Florida, we're running into problems where they can't get workers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was hearing a conversation earlier in the week about them wanting to raise, they wanted to raise the minimum wage to $15 or $20. Well, when a company cannot pay that, no one's going to get paid. They're not going to have workers.
Well,
because
they did it. They did it in some
afford to
states.
pay them that because they're not making money, then they're going to end up closing, and then they're not going to be able to pay anybody.
I forget where it was, whether it was Seattle or Illinois. It was somewhere. They raised the minimum wage to $15 or whatever. And the next day, the local McDonald's installed kiosks.
Right. They automated.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
you know, you walk into those in the Northeast and stuff will know of a Wawa or, you know, a Sheetz Grocers. You walk in and there's a kiosk. You put in what you want. Person in the back makes it. And,
yeah. Well, you're not old enough, Brian, but remember the years of gas station attendants. It used to be a law, and I think that are there still states
Oregon still has a law
against the law to pump your own gas?
Oregon has one.
Oregon has one, yeah. So remember the days that they had gas station attendants, and they'd come out, and they'd clean your windshield, and they'd pump your gas for you, and yeah.
Yep.
And even if you go to McDonald's now, you don't have to stand in line. You can automate. You can do it online. They have a huge keypad.
Yeah, I mean, but this, even if you go back to the Obama administration when they, with Obamacare, and they mandated all these companies to have health insurance for their full-time employees.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I remember correctly, a lot of companies shifted and changed and cut the hours of their workers, so they became part-time.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or at the grocery store, you've got the self-checkouts now.
Yeah,
in Europe, we always bagged our groceries. It was one of those custom things that you bag your own groceries. Yeah. They rang it up and they collected it down at the end, but you were in charge of bagging your own groceries.
And I'm not, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be this way for companies in terms of making it better environments for employees and doing this, but there's always a consequence to the decisions that are made. Like, It sounds great to do all of this stuff for employees, but a company's going to make a decision based on those other decisions to make sure that they stay profitable. Like, a business isn't in business to make its employees happy. Like, that's not the purpose of it in many ways. Does it help? Sure, of course. Giving them a ping pong table and bean bags and free salad bar? Sure, cool, awesome. But that's not the purpose of it. Like,
the purpose of the business is to provide a service.
Yeah, sell goods and services to customers. Like, a public company has and is beholden to shareholders and stockholders in this country, right? A private company is usually beholden to the owner or manager or family, if there's a family component to it. Like, yeah, of course employees are important, but there's an aspect that always gets missed, that like a business isn't here for your gratification. Like, we seem to have lost this concept that we work for a company. They hire us to do a job for them. Like, it's not the other way around. Like, it's a privilege that they've given us a job, but we look at it as like, oh, they owe us something. It's like, okay, well, what do you owe them? What are they paying you for? Like, are they paying you to post negative stuff on LinkedIn about how awful your job is? Because I don't think that's why they hired you.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's an interesting conversation, and I know it relates back to bringing humanity into the workplace, but I think people really have to kind of take a look and be like, what is my purpose for working here?
Mm-hmm. It's to provide a job. And a lot of people think that job is theirs, and they think that job is secure. And that job is not theirs, and it's not secure.
Correct.
That job can be done away with in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, even the greatest athletes in the world, LeBron James is probably in his, was he mid-30s now? I mean, which is ancient for basketball. Plus, he's been playing in the NBA since he was like 5. But like, there's going to come a time in the next year or two where he's going to think about and contemplate retiring, and he will retire from the NBA within the next 5 years. And guess what? He will be replaced by someone else on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it'll be 3 guys or 4. But the point is, everybody's time ends up running out at some point, right? I mean, we're all replaceable. And if you don't do your job or can't do your job, well, a company's going to find someone who can. No matter how much they like you or don't like you, or how competent or incompetent you are. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Or they can also, if you're in a management position, give your position to an assistant manager and pay them half as much because they know how to do your job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not that they rule your life. It's the fact that it's a job and a career, and that's what you sign up for. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of people who complain when they get into the job that, oh, my job is X, Y, and Z, and it isn't what. Okay, well, maybe it's not the right fit. I mean, that happens, but you know, what do you expect it to be?
I say, so what? Now what? What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, well, you're in nursing. It's like, well, I got into nursing, but I don't like blood. Right? And it's like,
yeah.
You know, it's like I want to be in the Air Force, but I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't think people don't.
Okay.
Well, I think did you mention? I think you had mentioned it earlier. I just don't think people plan.
No.
People really don't have a plan for their lives.
They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
They don't have a plan at all.
They have no plan at all.
They plan their life out at all in any way, shape, or form.
They live day to day.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've talked to more and more people about it, and it's fascinating to see how many people don't have any semblance, whether it be a business plan, whether it be a plan of goals, objectives of what they want to achieve in the next 3, 5, 10 years, and they have no way of getting there.
They don't know where do you see yourself in a year? When I ask people that, they're like clueless. They're like, I can't get through today. See what tomorrow's like.
Yeah.
They're just getting drugged through life.
Yes.
And they're holding
fascinating because I don't relate to it in that context of just floating through life, although that would be nice. I don't mind just kind of doing whatever. But I'm very intentional about certain things, you know, and it was interesting. I'll just share one story. When I was in university teaching, and I also did a lot of M&A work and industry work outside. And I remember I always carried 2 business cards with me. One was from the university and one was from my industry job. And I remember having the conversation with students once of why, you know, you teach. And I said, well, that's true, but I don't know who I'm going to meet, when I'm going to meet them, and what's going to come in handy. I mean, I might meet someone who has 0 interest that I'm a college professor, and someone who's more interested in, hey, I'm looking to sell my business or buy businesses and do this. I put that hat on and talk to them that way, right? I mean, always looking for opportunities. I mean, that was just, I was always been that way. That, you know, even now I have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 potential projects that I'm working on at any given time. Some follow through and finish, some fizzle out and don't go anywhere. But, you know, I always at least go down the initial rabbit hole to see what's possible here.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, I don't think a lot of people do that. At least in my experience, people I've talked to don't seem to be that outwardly looking.
Well, I don't see people floating through life. I see people on a roller coaster ride, and they're not in the cars. They're at the very last car, hanging on with their tail and their legs flying out the back end.
Yeah.
Hanging on for day after day after day.
Yeah, and the last year and a half certainly hasn't made it easier for people.
Yeah.
It's exposed a lot of things. And yeah, there's a lot of people who have genuinely suffered, not just physically, I mean, financially, emotionally, everything in the last year and a half. And it's unfortunate and terrible to see. But I've also talked to people who are on the complete opposite side of that spectrum. Their businesses have thrived in the last
Hmm.
year and a half, and they've become more productive and they've done more and they're happier. Like,
Well, a lot of
it
people I have found who their businesses have suffered don't want to look at a way to complement what they're doing in their business. For example, gyms that have been closed because they don't know what they don't know, and they don't think of doing something to complement that business because something's going to happen again. You just never know when it's going to happen or what it's going to be. There will always be something. So whether it be that or it be in life, you have to have more than just this plan A that you got going. That isn't really a plan. It's just living each day and what happens, happens. It's having that plan B and that plan C and that backup and go, how am I going to protect myself in the future?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I don't know if it's that people don't get taught those skills, financial skills, bookkeeping skills, how to do basic accounting for themselves. Maybe some people don't have the means or ability to, get retrained in certain things or learn new skills, or, some people don't have the desire.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it's an ever changing world. I mean, you know, look at how we communicate now 95% of the time, right? I mean, we two-dimensionally talk to someone through a computer screen,
Mhm.
right? And you see the inside of a lot of people's homes. Kind of ironic,
It
Mhm.
is.
right? Um, you know, we're much more exposed than we ever have been to the rest of the world, but we don't consider it that way. It's so strange. It's like, why would I let most people in my own home if I didn't know them? Yet here we are standing in front of a screen, and you can
Being
see,
alive.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
see everything in your life. Um, yeah, it's a weird dichotomy, but I think businesses are starting to figure it out. Um, Workers are figuring it out. I mean, there's going to be some balance to it. I mean, in
Oh,
some
I
industries,
agree.
will probably, yeah, some industries will go back full time 100% of the time. Some industries won't. There'll be some hybrid model somewhere along the line. I mean, it's always ever changing, and technology is only going to get better. I mean, but if we're not paying attention as businesses or even people in business, what's going to happen? I mean, even my industry, a lot of it's automated, process
Right.
oriented. You look at an Amazon warehouse. I mean, how much of that stuff gets moved by robot?
Mhm.
90,
A lot of it.
A lot
A
of it.
lot of it.
right? I mean, I remember, this goes back a while, when the Denver International Airport was built, the new one, when they tore down State Burford, and they were installing a new computer system and luggage system to automate all the luggage coming out from the airplanes to come up through the baggage handlers to the carousels. And it was the first of its kind to be completely like automated. And now I'm sure almost every airport has something similar where, it got scanned and they knew exactly where to send it and all these kinds of things, and scan the tags on the bags. And that's 35-year-old technology now. I
Yeah.
mean,
Wow.
now it's QR code here, QR code there, order through an app here, and you know, some delivery dude shows up with your food.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you
I
could
mean,
do QR codes just to an ordering page, and all you have to do is fill in your information, and boom, in 2 minutes, it's coming to your door.
yeah, I mean, I could probably buy something on Uber Eats and get a free vaccine while I'm at it. I mean, who knows? I mean, free Budweiser. Who knows? I mean, but the point being is there's so much access to so much stuff, and these little things give you access to the entire world.
Yeah,
it does. It does.
It does. Yeah.
Business is changing. It's a dichotomy, Chris. It's more human centric and less human centric at the same time.
That I would agree on. So, Carla, what will be our call to action for today?
Oh gosh, we've taken this in so many different directions. I would say to focus on how you present yourself in not only your work situations, but in every area of your life. And practice positivity and gratitude. It really makes a big difference from negativity.
Oh, it does. Brian, what about you?
I'll take the bipartisan line on this one and agree.
Oh,
Ooh,
that is good.
Calendar.
Yes. Yeah, and for me, it is about the power of positivity and the power of possibility. If we can share that with others and see that for in our lives, and just show up and just take it in for what it is and not for what's not there. It's like what I've learned from Brian Sumner when it comes to a conversation or even an opportunity. Just take for what it is, then what's not there. Then our world's going to be opened up into a much larger capacity, and we may even be transformed there within that opportunity because it's there for us to take.
So true.
Even the fact that you have a little gator behind you and I have a bird on my hat, and we actually have a
How did I know you were going to go there? How did I know you were going to go there?
Now, what is this, guys? What are you talking about?
University of Florida and University of Miami don't like each other in athletic.
Yeah. Well, don't make me get out my Georgia Bulldogs.
No. We won't go there. That'll be for another.
So you even got the largest outdoor cocktail party going on as well with Georgia and Florida. Yes, and
in Jacksonville.
Yeah. That we will definitely go to that one because you know what's coming up this year. Tim Tebow will be a Jacksonville Jaguar.
Oh, we will be?
Yeah, he's already been signed.
I didn't know that.
If you really want to bring humanity together, Chris, now we have to start talking about our college allegiances, which are completely diametrically opposed.
We can
see how we get along that way.
We can still be friends.
Yeah,
we have friends of ours that are Dolphins fans, and I actually have a Dolphins jersey. I forget, or a T-shirt to wear to his house for the Dolphin games. So
I'm a diehard Dolphin fan. Yeah. I love Miami through and through. Even though I'm a Tampa Bay Buck fan too, but I love Dan Marino when he was there. He was just one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and he never won a Super Bowl. Never won one.
Wow.
No, he did not.
Well, we've been in a golf tournament with Nat Moore before. Up here.
Nat Moore, he's good people. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, our friend Len is really a big Dolphins person.
Yeah.
Big time. So we have fun. Otherwise, other than Miami, I don't really care about professional football. I love a good college football game.
Oh, I do too. I do.
I couldn't tell you anything about the Atlanta Falcons, but I like soccer. So that's true football. They play 90 minutes.
Yeah. That's a different ball game.
What's that?
Tell me about Lynn's birthday.
His what? Oh, FinFan One. Our Jim's interacting here. He said, our friend, he has a car tag, and it's FinFan One, and then he had bought this lease car, and he kept it. He wanted to keep it because it's like a sports car, and then he bought like a small SUV, and that's the FinFan 2. So he is a diehard Miami person.
Nice.
Yeah.
You used to have hockey years ago.
But we like the old logo.
The Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames used to be from Atlanta.
Yeah, but we'll take
they were
whatever.
the flames because of the burning of Atlanta. That's what they're named after. Sherman's
What is
burning.
that?
The Calgary Flames with the C with the fire.
Yeah.
Hockey team. They used to be from Atlanta, and that
Well,
logo.
that's why when my husband moved down from upstate New York in '77, he and his cousin chose 4 cities: Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, I think Tampa was the other one, and Atlanta. And they drove down. They spent a week in each city, and then went back and decided where they were going to move to. And they moved to Atlanta because they had a hockey team.
Well, the team name, the Flames, comes from the burning of Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't work as well in Calgary, but that's okay.
So I don't think that we don't have a national team here in Atlanta anymore.
No,
We've got
you only have soccer,
lower levels. Yeah, we have soccer and we have baseball,
football,
and football,
basketball with the Hawks.
Yeah, we got the Hawks.
No professional hockey team. No.
No, the Atlanta Thrashers left.
We have some lower level teams. There's a lower level team here, the Gladiators, but we don't have a national team here.
But it's been a great and engaging conversation, and we will probably have to talk another time when it comes to our teams that we love. We'll be diametrically opposed to one another. Yes, we will. We get in that conversation later. We will.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much, Carla, for hosting Humanity Happy Hour, aka the 19th Hole. I greatly appreciate you so much. And Brian, thank you for chiming in yet again. We greatly appreciate your thoughts. And then we have to get Graham on this call.
It's great to see you, Brian.
Likewise, good to see you.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll see you next week for Sharing Care with Sandy Chernoff, Conversation for Humanity, and of course, Humanity Happy Hour hosted by none other but Carla Fedigan. So we greatly appreciate you guys. You guys have a great and wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.